What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's daily market recap. We're going to go over my trades from this morning. Overall, this was another solid day. Didn't make quite as much as I made yesterday, but I'm not complaining. This week has been fantastic. And in fact, this week, I made a little less than I made last week, but this week was very consistent, averaging right around $20,000 per day. So that's over $100,000 on the week. Finishing up now, the month of January, it's in the books, over $400,000 in trading profits. Wow, what a wild month. So this is the P&L here for today. You can see $26,552.65. I'm down about $2,000 off my high. Peaked a little over $28,000 and then gave back about $2,000. No problem there. SGN was the biggest winner. And this was kind of interesting because, to be honest, I didn't expect a lot of it. The reason I didn't expect a lot of it was if we back up this 5-minute chart, you'll see that this made a big move just earlier in the week. And it was great. On the day it made that big move, this was my biggest winner. And we had this really nice squeeze all the way from 350-ish, 250, 350, all the way up to about $7 a share. But it sold off into the afternoon. And the next morning, pre-market, it sold off more. And yesterday, it just kept selling off until this morning, it bounced back up. Now, why did it bounce back up? Well, we actually had news on it. So I put my news window down here in this corner just so the daily chart's a little bit bigger. But this had news that they retain rights as national recruiting partner to the U.S. Army Bowl through 2026 in a new deal. Okay, so that's their headline. And the stock starts popping up. My problem with this type of setup is that typically the way I feel about it is I'm kind of trading the backside of the initial move. So if this was the initial move 2 days ago, that was fantastic. And you know what? I'm really good at cutting my losses. If I'm in a trade that's a loser, I get out. I had one bigger loss today, $2,500. You know, it is what it is. I took the loss, I moved on. But there are other traders out there that don't cut the loss. They get stubborn. They get in maybe up here on one of these topping tails. And rather than just sell for a loss here and move on to the next trade, they hold and hold and hold and hold. In fact, maybe they start averaging down and then holding and holding and holding and holding and averaging down. So what does that mean? Well, when the stock starts to come back up, they might be happy to get out right here. So typically you're going to have more selling as it comes back up, which is from bag holders who are still holding from the previous day, who have sell orders out to get out, break even or just to get out for a smaller loss. So typically day one is the cleanest day, and day two can work if day two is breaking through the high of day one. So any maybe bag holders are cleared out as it pushes higher, and then you have short covering. Whereas on this setup, you have bag holders who are selling, and you have short sellers who are probably thinking, it's unlikely this gets all the way back up to here, so that's my level of risk. I'm going to start watching some of these levels like 525 for shorting it, or maybe off of 460 as it comes up there. So unfortunately, you have a little bit more headwind on this kind of setup. And as you can see at the open, we had 7 million shares of volume. Now, you also have to recognize that a lot of the traders who traded this on day one traded it during regular hours. The move began at 9:30 a.m. So some of those traders may not even know how to place orders pre-market. They might have wanted to get out, but they might not have really understood how to get out pre-market. And so what they would end up doing is just placing a limit order to sell. And when does that execute? Right at the open. And so right at the open, what ends up happening? We have a high volume red candle, a couple of them. So I think that was a contributing factor. There may have been some other things there, but I think that was a big part of the reason that this didn't push higher. So I broke the ice on it. If we go back to my first trade, it was at 7 a.m. and I bought at $3.40. I got in a little high. So it squeezed up here. I saw it pop up to 3. I saw it pop up to 320. It pulls back, and I was kind of watching it right there. Let's zoom this in. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's zoom in on the 1-minute time frame. So on the 1-minute chart right here, it popped up to about 320, 330, pulled back, and right in here, my problem with it was that it had just done this topping tail. That was just before 7 a.m., so, not as many people trading at that time, but it just done that topping tail, and I didn't like that. And then it pushes here. So I ended up getting in at 340, which was a little high, but I was like, I'll break the ice on this. It ended up going up to 360 and going up to 389, going all the way up to 4. So right there, boom, first trade of the day, once again, $5,000. I'm in the green. I've not only hit my daily goal. I mean, I've built a cushion and I've hit my daily goal, which is $5,000 on the first trade in 3 minutes. So now I'm in a pretty good position. That was with an initial entry at 340, adding at 355, adding at 359. Goes up to 380, goes up to 4. I got my profit up there, and then it starts to pull back. So while that's pulling back, I focus on another stock. So right here, it's pulling back. And what I didn't like about this was right in this area, it was very thickly traded. See this topping tail and the second topping tail? So I tried to add here for the breakthrough 4, and I gave back a little bit because it was a little choppy. And then it rejects, drops down. It pops back up, and I thought it was going to go again, and then it failed. So I got in and got out again. And then I was like, man, this thing's choppy. So at 7:30, NLSP hit our scans. So NLSP hits the scans right at 7:30, and this thing takes off on breaking news. So the headline on this was they have a merger agreement. So let's see, we'll have to pull up the news headline. So approved merger. Now, I'm not always a huge fan of small cap merger agreements. They don't always work out super well, but this started to pop and it started to squeeze pretty quickly. And so as soon as this stock hit my high of day momentum scanner, I took a starter at 250. And so the way I found this stock was it was hitting my scanner right here. So that scanner paid me $11,938, you could say, because that was like the first trade. So got in at 250, squeezed up to 3, all the way up to 320, all the way up to 340, drops back down, and then rallies back up. Traded it for the break of VWAP. It pulls back, comes back, little cup and handle here, another breakout to 320, pulls back, and then another trade at the open. I gave back a little profit at the open, thinking it was going to squeeze through the pre-market high of 340, and it did not. So gave back like $1,000 on that one, and then SGN gave back a little profit on that. So on SGN, I switched back to this, and this breakout right here, this was a little bit annoying because that breakout was at what time? That was at 7:19 we got that breakout. So let me just see. So I actually missed it. That one popped fast, and I was like, gosh darn it. And then there was kind of a seller up here, and so I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then 7:30 comes, and I trade, at that point I'm trading NLSP. This pulls back a little bit more, and then all of a sudden it kind of climbs back up here. So I got back in this for that squeeze higher. We got a little pullback, a little dip, and then a little push higher. And I traded it right into the open here. And what I was looking for was the breakthrough that pre-market high, and we got it. We got the breakthrough 440 right on this setup, and that gave us a nice squeeze all the way up to 5, but then at the open, it was high volume selling, and we came back down. Now, the only stock I gave back, I had a couple losses on SGN and NLSP, whatever, but I'm red on ZKIN. This one popped up, pulled back. I got in right here. I got in a little high at about 330. It hits a high of 348 and then dumps down, and I lost 2,500 on that trade. This one is a reverse split, Chinese stock with breaking news. So I was like, these ones the company does a reverse split and breaking news on the same day. We sometimes see this, and the stocks can make a big move, but it didn't happen on that one. So took the loss on that one, and that was at about 9 a.m., 9:15 a.m. So took the loss on that, but then the last stock I traded today was SGN. So overall, it's been a solid day. My P&L here on the week, not including today, let me refresh this. It'll include yesterday. So this is the month of January. We had a little slow stretch here. And, if we hadn't had that slow week, this probably would have been as good or better than December, but we had just that slower week right there. But then we came out of that and we had some really nice trading. So sitting on, if we look at the calendar, was at 380,000 on the month before today. So it'll be at $406,000 on the month gross profit. I'm really, really impressed with this volatility that we've been seeing. Market was closed on this day. Market was closed on this day. So we had 2 days that we missed because of the market being closed. Oh, it was also closed on the 1st, so 3 days. Best week was last week, thanks to basically ALUR, which was my biggest winning stock of the month. That was the one that squeezed on news from like $5 a share or $4 all the way up here to a high of 16 or 20. So that was my best trade of the month. But unfortunately, that company put out an offering at 9:30 at the opening bell, and then the stock dropped back down. Ugh, yikes. That's not what you like to see. So anyways, so that was pretty bad. But it was nice on the way up before they put out that bad news. And, you know, they have good news and then they put out bad news like an hour later, 2 hours later. That's kind of weird, but whatever. So that's where I sit here on the month, not including today's trade. So those will get imported. And then this weekend, I've got a couple episodes that I'm going to upload. I've got another broker review that I'm going to do, which I think you guys will enjoy. And then Sunday, I'll give you my game plan for the week ahead. I will also let you know that right now we are running a Groundhog Day sale. So Groundhog Day is February 2nd, and that's when the little groundhog pops his head out of the hole and decides if he sees his shadow, then he's going to go back down for another 6 weeks. Winter's going to be longer. Or if he doesn't see his shadow and he stays out, it's going to be a shorter winter. So this is a very exciting time of year for some of us. And we've got a Groundhog Day sale to celebrate it. This is a tradition that we've had. And we call the groundhog Partial Phil. So his name is Phil, Partial Phil. He goes by Phil for short, but Partial Phil is going to be making his appearance. So you can check out the sales that we've got on the website right now if you'd like. They're going to be running through early next week. So yeah, you can come over to Join Now and you'll check out our memberships and the discounts that we've got for the Groundhog Day sale. There's Phil. There he is. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. Reminder, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk, take it slow, and practice these new strategies you're learning in a safe, simulated environment before you put real money on the line. I'll see you guys back here bright and early, Monday morning, 7 a.m. I will be live streaming Eastern Standard Time for members at Warrior Trading. All right, I'll see you then.